What is statistics and probability?
First of all, to start this video we need to know about what statistics and probability are. Statistics is a mathematical tool that we use to collect, organize, and interpret numerical data. In statistics, we generally want to study a population. You can think of a population as a collection of persons, things or objects under study. To examine an entire population it will take a lot of time and money. Because of that, sampling is a very practical technique to be used. The idea of sampling is to select a portion of the large population and study that portion to gain information about the population. Data are the result of sampling from a For example, if we want to examine the average point earned by students in all math classes, we can consider one math class to be a sample of the population, then the average points earned by students in that one math class at the end of the term is an example of a statistic that we get from that population.
Meanwhile, probability is a mathematical tool used to study randomness. It deals with the chance of an event occurring. For example, if you toss a fair coin for 2,000 times, the outcomes will be close to half heads and half tails. The expected theoretical probability of heads in any one toss is half, or 0.5. Probability also used in analyzing games of chance, genetics and weather prediction. In your study of statistics, you will use the power of mathematics through probability calculations to analyze and interpret your data.
The normal distribution is the most important probability distribution in statistics because it fits many natural phenomena. It is also known as the Gaussian distribution and the bell curve. The normal distribution is a probability function that describes how the values of a variable are distributed. It is a symmetric distribution where most of the observations cluster around the central peak and the probabilities for values further away from the mean taper off equally in both directions. Extreme values in both tails of the distribution are similarly unlikely. For example, heights, blood pressure, measurement error, and IQ scores follow the normal distribution. This is example of normally distributed data is height. As you can see, the distribution of heights follows the typical pattern for all normal distributions. Most girls are close to the average, 1.512 meters. Small differences between an individual's height and a mean occur more frequently than substantial deviations from the mean. The standard deviation is 0.0741 meters, which indicates the typical distance that individual girls tend to fall from mean height. The distribution is symmetric. The number of girls shorter than average equals the number of girls taller than average. In both tails of the distribution, extremely short girls occur as infrequently as extremely tall girls.
The binomial distribution is a probability distribution that summarizes the likelihood that a value will take one of two independent values under a given set of parameters or assumptions. The underlying assumptions of the binomial distribution are that there is only one outcome for each trial, that each trial has the same probability of success, and that each trial is mutually exclusive or independent of each other. A binomial distribution can be thought of as simply the probability of a success or failure outcome in an experiment or survey that is repeated multiple times. The binomial is a type of distribution that has two possible outcomes. The prefix bi means two or twice. For example, a coin toss has only two possible outcomes, which is heads or tails, and taking a test could have two possible outcomes, pass or fail. For example, drug. If a new drug is introduced to cure a disease, it either cures the disease, it's successful, or it doesn't cure the disease, it's a failure. Second example is if you purchase a lottery ticket, you're either going to win money, or you aren't. Basically, anything you can think of that can only be a success or a failure can be represented by a binomial distribution.
In statistics, a Poisson distribution is a statistical distribution that shows how many times an event is likely to occur within a specified period of time. It is used for independent events which occur at a constant rate within a given interval of time. A Poisson distribution is a tool that helps to predict the probability of certain events from happening when you know how often the event has occurred. It gives us the probability of a given number of events happening in a fixed interval of time.
The application of binomial distribution in daily life. In our engineering campus, the probability student which get hostel is 60%. 10 random student being fill up hostel registration form. So what is the probability of 6 student that fill the form exactly get to stay at the campus? By the information given, we will get the P is equals 0.6 and the Q will becoming 0.4, while the N, which is independent trial, equals 10. The exact for student among of 10 student is 6 people, which give the X is equals to 6. Using the formula, all the information being substitute. After calculated, the answer we'll get is 0.2508.